Hey yogis, welcome to Hannah Adams Yoga. Thanks for joining. For today's flow, I'm going to bring you through a well-rounded combination of some lunge variations, a really soft approach to some back bending, and a little bit of hip opening towards the end. Hopefully that sounds good to you. It might serve you well to grab a couple blocks if you have them, but no worries if you don't, you'll easily be able to manage. So go gather what you think you need, and I'll meet you on your mat when you're ready. Hey yogi, welcome back. If it's available, I want you to get started in a kneeling posture, sitting on your heels. If that's not a really comfortable place for you to start and you don't have a block to sit on, you could sit cross-legged. So choose a variation that works well for you now. Place your hands just effortlessly along the knees or the thighs and close your eyes. And we're just going to take about 5 breaths or so to just be with our breath movement before we get into all the other movements. So take a purposeful inhale and exhale. And just allow your attention to start to shift there. The movement of the breath, the quality of the breath. Maybe you can continue to be present with the breath, but pull it a little less, push it a little less. So you start to soften the edges around the breath. And the breath starts to slow a little bit, so you buy yourself more time to notice those details like the movement of the breath. Give yourself just a couple more rounds, finding the fullness of your inhale and exhale. We're just going to continue to keep this awareness of breath, but frame it with other active movements and moments of stillness. Give yourself one more breath to be with it, however it is. And then you're going to make your way into a tabletop position on your hands and your knees, facing the front of your mat. Per usual, take that mindful moment to spread the fingers and to place the weight of your knees. And then I want you to have a moment where you treat this like a pose. Don't treat it like an entrance to cat-cow. Just treat it like its own pose. Find a place to land your eyes, and then find your breath movement at the center of the shape. And then allow the inhale to happen fully, so much that the eyes could start to lift and the tail could start to lift. And then find your exhale so fully that the belly space starts to gather, the chin comes towards the chest, backs of the ribs press high. Keep this going, allowing the motion of your inhale to initiate the cow, lifting the eyes, and allowing what's naturally occurring with your exhale to initiate your cat, chin to chest. Continue to frame your breath movement. So there's already this movement happening at your center, and we're finding it little by little more closely and starting to utilize that movement to come into our active movement, finding gentle pauses at the edges of the breath, little moments of stillness here and there just to highlight the inevitable movement. Couple more breaths. Give it one more full breath in. As you exhale, you're going to settle into a neutral spine. Allow your hips to sway generously to the right, and then reach your right arm up to the sky. Look towards your right thumb. I have a fuzzball on my right thumb. Continue to look up, and don't treat this like an entrance to the thread. Just treat it like its own pose. Eyes are still. And can you notice that breath movement happening in your center? Give it another full breath in. And then on the exhale, thread the arm under. No rush to get there, but eventually the head will land down. And I want you to crawl your left hand towards the front of your mat, coming to tented fingers, so the arm is straight and hovering over your face. And then let the eyes land still and locate that breath movement again. And then on your inhale, look towards the front of your mat Exhale, reach the right arm forward in the same way, coming into your Anahatasana, your puppy pose. So your hips are still over the knees, the heart is reaching forward and down, and maybe your forehead lowers or maybe your chin can touch. If the chin touches, you might enjoy tented fingers to get that extra lift through the chest. Wherever you are, give yourself a couple breaths just to be still enough that you can notice the breath movement happening within the shape. Give it one more full breath in. And then exhale, start to tuck your tail, catting your spine, walking the hands underneath the shoulders, chin to chest when you arrive. And then continue to cat the spine, meaning gather the belly, come through tented fingers. You start to roll yourself upright into a kneeling posture. Take your time for the head to arrive, no rush. And when you're ready, catch an inhale, reach it up with your left arm. Right hand is going to come to your waist. And if you feel ready for a gentle back bend, go for it. Otherwise, let your hips sway to the left and find a gentle side bend over to your right. Let the eyes land still and just give yourself a couple breaths to notice all the space available with your inhale and exhale. Give it another full breath in. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands forward to come back to your tabletop. You'll take an inhale to cow, lift the eyes. And then exhale to cat, chin to chest. From there, you'll come through a neutral spine. Let your hips sway to the left. Reach your left arm up to the sky. Let your eyes land towards your thumb. Feel your right hand press down a little more to expose the front of the chest, the shoulders. And then give it an inhale just to be in it as a pose. And then exhale, thread the left arm under until your left side of head can land gently on your mat. From there, crawl your right hand towards the front of the mat so the arm feels straight, so you're on tented fingers, and then the eyes are still, and you have a couple breath movements. With your next inhale, look towards your right hand, and then exhale, reach the left arm forward, coming into your puppy pose, heart center pose. Find a place to land the weight of your head, and then give it a couple breaths or so to notice all the space that's available, even within the relative confinement of the pose. So you're not stuck. There's plenty of movement happening at your center just because you're breathing. You're going to give it another full breath in, and then on your exhale, tuck the tail, start to cat your spine so your hands have to walk under the shoulders. Cat your spine so much you come through tented fingers and roll yourself upright into a kneeling pose, taking time for the head to come all the way up, and then catch your inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky, left hand to your waist. You could find your gentle back bend or press your hips to the right and start to explore a gentle side bend, giving yourself a really tolerable dose of tension, and then noticing that your breath movement gives you plenty of options to find space and to let things go and deal with the tension at hand. Give it another full breath in. And then exhale, cartwheel your hands to tabletop. You'll take an inhale, cow, lift the eyes, lift the tail. And then exhale, cat, chin to chest. And we're just going to flow through that whole sequence. Let your hips sway to the right. Reach the right arm up. Let your eyes land still. Make it a pose. Notice your inhale. And then exhale, thread the right arm under. Head comes down. Left hand crawls forward. Eyes are still. Give it a focused breath. On your next inhale, look forward. Exhale, reaching the right arm forward, coming into your puppy pose. If your forehead has been down so far, catch an inhale to lift the eyes and stay there gently for another breath. Give it another full breath in, and then exhale, cat through the pelvis. The rest of the spine follows. The hands walk in, come through your cat, rolling all the way upright to your kneeling pose. Reaching the left arm up to the sky, bringing your right hand to the waist, and then bring your right hand to the back of your waist, driving your hips forward so you start to hinge just a little back, just a little bit, and then pause. I want you to notice your inhale going across your back. So there's that widening that happens. And on your exhale, maybe move into that space that you just made with the breath. So again, the inhale shows you a little extra space along the back. And then exhale, move a little into that space. And then give yourself a place to pause and just enjoy the breath movement within that. Give it another soft breath in. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down, tabletop. Taking your inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. Last time to the other side, let your hips sway to the left, reach the left arm up, lift the eyes, a moment of relative stillness, notice the movement of the inhale. And then exhale, thread the left arm under so your head can land, crawling the right fingers towards the front of your mat. Eyes are still, and there's a breath full of movement. And then inhale, look forward. Exhale, reach the left arm forward. Allow the weight of the chest to lower, the weight of the head to gently come forward and up. So your chin might be down or you're reaching the chin. And then give it a couple gentle breaths. Waiting for that moment of exhale to start to move you and then move with it, tucking the tail, walking the hands under the shoulders, and then rolling yourself until you're upright. Last time, inhale, reach the right arm up, left hand comes to the waist, and then adjust it to the back of the waist. Press your knees down so your buttocks engages a little more, driving the weight of your pelvis forward so you start to hinge back just a little, and then notice your inhale widening across the ribs, across the spine. And let that be a moment for you to consider entering that space, coming a little further. But at some point, you're going to be still and just enjoy whatever extra space presents itself with each breath. So again, even within the confinement of the pose, you're not actually stuck. Just because you're still, there's still all that breath movement available. Another full breath in, enjoy it. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down. You're going to curl your toes under, take an inhale to cow, lift the eyes. And then exhale to your downward facing dog. Give yourself about 3 breaths or so to fidget with the down dog, getting your feet about hip width, getting the hands to really press down and a lift in the hips. Landing the eyes still at some point between your lower legs. And then find the breath movement happening in the center of the shape. What happens to your belly, your ribs, your spine as you inhale and as you exhale. And can you work with that movement to deepen the down dog? So as you inhale and there's that extra space, maybe lift the hips a little higher. And as you exhale, maybe press the hands down a little deeper. Give yourself another breath to work with the breath movement. Gotta hydrate. And then we'll continue to work with the breath to move into other shapes. So on your inhale, reach the right leg up to the sky, bend the knee and let the hip open. And then exhale, I want you to step just like halfway up the outside of your mat towards the right hand, maybe like 3/4 of the way or halfway. And then you're going to start to adjust your feet and the front of your hips to the right. So both feet face the right. And then you could stay here if you're feeling a lot of weight in the hands, or bring more weight into your left hand and reach the right arm forward so the bicep frames your ear, similar to the thread the needle as far as the arm and head placement. And then press into your right foot more to lift the hips. And then eyes are still and 2 full breaths. Give it another full breath in. And then exhale, lower the right hand down, come into your high plank just for an inhale. And on your exhale to downward facing dog. Give it a moment to just breathe. And then wait for an inhale, the left leg reaches up, bending the knee, let the hip open. And then exhale, step about halfway or so up the outside of the mat. You'll start to adjust your feet to face the left. Let the hips twist to face the left. Feel encouraged to keep both hands down or reach the left arm over your head, bicep near the face. And then press your left foot more to lift the hip a little higher. Eyes are still and locate your breath movement in the center of this. Give it another full breath in. And then exhale to your high plank. Pausing in your high plank just for one big inhale. On your exhale, I want you to lower all the way down onto your belly and then point your feet. From there, you're going to reach your arms straight behind you and then rotate the palms to face down. Press the palms down into your mat or the ground. And then point the feet, press those down, lifting the chest and the head, just a micro movement. And then locate your inhale, wandering across the chest, widening that space. And maybe that allows you to come a little higher and your hands and your feet can anchor a little deeper. Give yourself a couple patient breaths to work with your inhale and your exhale to find more space and support where you are. And you might just enjoy staying where you are with that space, or you might move into it, coming a little higher. Give it one more breath to work with for now. And then lift your eyes a little higher, big breath in. Exhale, bend your elbows so your hands can come under, curling the toes under. Wait for another exhale to come through your low push-up high plank, and then hips come back and up, downward facing dog. Give it an organized nostril breath in and out of the nose. And then again, inhale, reach the right leg up to the sky, bend the knee, let the hip open. This time, exhale, step the foot all the way to the outside of the right hand, coming into a full lizard lunge. From there, shift your weight into your left hand and reach the right arm up to the sky for a twist. You could stay there or step the right foot back into your side plank. Wherever you are, your eyes are still and you have a breath of movement. Give it one more full breath in. And then exhale to your high plank and then hips back and up, downward facing dog. A slow breath in and out. And then inhale, left leg reaches up to the sky, bend the knee, let the hip open. Exhale, big step to the outside of the hand. You could stay or reach the left arm up to the sky. You could stay or step your left foot back for your side plank. Eyes are still, breath full of movement. Give it one more full breath in. On your exhale, come through your high plank and then lower all the way down onto your belly. Point your feet again. This time, interlace your hands behind your low back, reaching the arms just a little back and up so the arms straighten more or less. Reaching the feet a little back and up so the quads and the buttocks engage. And then catch an inhale to lift a little higher, working with your arms and legs on the exhale to sustain your lift. And then continue to work with your breath movement. Your inhale, exhale, showing you space and support. And working with that to find more ease where you are or to move up elsewhere. Couple more breaths. And then wait for your exhale. Release the hands so they're ready for your push-up. Curl the toes. Wait for an exhale, almost catting the pelvis to start your high plank. And then hips back and up. Downward facing dog. Give it an energized nostril breath. And then wait for your inhale. Reach the right leg straight up behind you. Be with that slight discomfort in trying to keep the front of the hips equally facing forward. Reaching the right leg, give it another full breath in. This time, exhale, bring the knee in towards your chest and step that foot forward between your hands. Lower your back knee a little back and down so it's far enough back that you get a little stretch in the front of your left hip. And then press your right heel down until your arms can come up, coming into a crescent lunge. Gently lifting the eyes and then noticing your breath movement within the relative stillness of the pose. Work with your inhale to reach the arms a little higher. And then exhale, lower your hands down so that your hips can start to come back and your right leg can extend. You could have blocks under your hands, or if that's not available, reach the arms behind you so the front of the spine lengthens and feeling your hips reach in the same direction as your hands. And then wherever you are, the eyes are still and you're allowing the spine and the ribs to be affected by the breath. And using that to maybe deepen the pose, to find more space in the pose. Couple breaths. And with your next inhale, bring your eyes forward. Exhale, bend your right knee, framing your right foot with your hands. Back toes are curled under. Give it another inhale. On your exhale, step straight back to downward facing dog. An organized breath in and out. And then inhale, reach the left leg straight up. Be with that slight discomfort of the front of the hips trying to stay forward as you reach the left leg a little higher. Give it another full breath in to lift it high. And then exhale, bring the knee in towards your chest and step the left foot between your hands, lowering your right knee back and down. And I forgot to say this on the other side, but if your knee's sensitive like mine, you might fold your mat over so you get a little cushion for the back knee. And then your left heel is heavy, reaching the arms up to the sky. Take a moment to find a place to land your eyes, and then let your breath movement be the star of the show in the center of the stillness. Give it another full breath in. And then exhale, lower your hands down so your hips can come back. Left leg starts to extend. Maybe you reach the arms back and lengthen the front of the spine and lift. Or maybe your hands are on blocks or on the ground. Whichever variation you choose, it's just a matter of finding a place to land relatively still so that you can be with the breath movement and allow those breath movements to affect you a little more, so that you're noticing potential for space and potential for exits to let things go. Couple breaths. With your next inhale, look forward. Bend into your left knee. Curl your back toes under so you're in that runner's lunge. Give it a moment of inhale. This time, exhale, come through your low push-up. Step the foot back, lower down, maybe hold for an extra moment. And when you're ready, come all the way down to your belly, point your feet. This time, I want you to bend your knees and reach for the tops of your feet or your ankles. And it's relatively early for a bow pose, which is why we're not doing one. We're just holding our feet, and rest your head down in a comfortable way. Ideally, your chin or your forehead would be down. I'm just going to tilt my head so I'm not talking at the floor. And I just want you to be with the holding of the feet and no anticipation of doing anything else with this. I want you to just feel each inhale offering you that potential of space, and each exhale offering you a moment to soften, and utilize that breath as it's happening to release some of the tension that's already presenting itself in this entrance to the pose. So your kneecaps might be able to soften, your shins might be able to soften a little bit. You might be able to feel the inhale get more into the low belly a little bit. So be with your breath movement and let it show you a little more space where you already are first, before we later try to find more space. Give it one more full breath in. This time just lift the eyes a little. And then exhale, release the hands, release the feet. Treat this like a counter stretch by tucking the tail, almost catting as you come through your high plank. And then hips back and up, downward facing dog. Give it an organized breath in and out. And then inhale, you're gonna lift your heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, look forward, either step or hop the feet towards your hands. On your inhale, halfway lift, get long. Exhale to your forward fold. Roll yourself up to standing. Take your time for the head to arrive. And then inhale, both arms reach up to the sky. On your exhale to your forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, step to your high plank. Pausing for your inhale. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly, pointing your feet. Maybe reach for the other foot first as you reach for the tops of your feet or your ankles. And then pause, take at least a breath to just be with that early onset of tension as you enter the shape. And then depending on what you feel, you may very well stay and make sure that you find more space where you are first before you try to press up into more space. But if you start to let things go, you might explore inhale, lifting up with the chest and the head, exhale, pressing the feet back a little more. And there's lots of gray area, so you don't have to come up as high as you can go still. Find just another layer of tension that you're going to patiently work with, finding breath movement wherever that is. Give another full breath in. And then exhale, release the feet, release the hands. Use the next transition to counter stretch the pelvis and the spine. High plank, hips back and up. Downward facing dog. Eyes are still. Give it 2 focused breaths. And then wait for your inhale. Lift the heels high. And then exhale, bend your knees. Step or hop your feet towards your hands. On your inhale, halfway lift, get long. And then exhale, forward fold. You're going to roll yourself up to standing. This time, keep the arms down by your side for a moment. Feel your feet come to about hip width apart. And then take a moment to cross the right arm on top of the left arm, either hugging yourself, hands towards the shoulder blades, or eagle bind, hands coming up to touch, keeping the cross of the upper arms. Give yourself a moment just to notice the breath in the upper back and how that might allow you to deepen the arms, maybe lift the elbows a little. And then you're going to start to shift your weight into your right foot and take your time to cross the left leg over, cautious that the hip doesn't go with it. Starting to bend into both knees a little more. Maybe the left leg crosses over enough the foot can hook behind. But that doesn't have to happen for you to experience eagle, a crossing through your midline where you're wrapped up around your center, and then notice the breath movement in that center that you've now highlighted. And one more full breath in. As you exhale, you're going to uncross the left leg, stepping it back and open the arms up to warrior 2. Take your time to really take up space with the arms and the feet. Landing the eyes still past your right hand, and then just be still for a full breath so you can notice the breath movement happening in the center. And one more focused breath in and out. You're going to straighten the right leg, reach the arms up to the sky, give that a nice big inhale. Slow the exhale down back to warrior 2. Do that one more time. Inhale to reach it up, straightening the leg. And then exhale, send it back to warrior 2. You'll take one more to lift it up, full breath in. Exhale to warrior 2. You're going to flip the right palm, reach it up and back, full breath in. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down, step the right foot back into your high plank. Give it a full breath in. Exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly. Bend your knees, reach for the tops of your feet. Have that gentle moment of pause where you're noticing the breath movement. You start to work with the breath movement to find your fuller variation of your bow pose, maybe coming just a little higher. And then the task is the same wherever you are in the shape, to find your breath movement, to notice the restrictions of the pose, but not feel stuck, because you feel the breath movement as a constant potential within the shape. And then waiting for a moment of exhale, use your high plank as your counter stretch back to downward facing dog. Give it a focused breath. And then on an inhale, lift the heels high. Exhale, bend your knees, step or hop forward. Last time. Inhale, halfway lift, get long. And then exhale to fold. You'll start to roll up to standing. Keep the arms by your side at first. Eyes out in front of you, and feel your feet come to what feels like hip width apart. This time you'll have the left arm crossing over, either reaching for the shoulder blades or fully bringing the hands up to touch. Using just the entrance of the pose to highlight the upper back. Notice your inhale there. Maybe there's enough movement you could lift the elbows a little higher. And you could stay just as you are, or start to shift your weight into your left foot, crossing the right leg over. Bending both knees so you can cross a little more, and so you're moving towards the support of gravity. Find a place to land the eyes and give yourself a couple breaths to be in your eagle. Feeling into all the space highlighted in the back. Give it another full breath in. And then exhale, uncross the right leg, step it back, opening on up to your warrior two. Take your time to take up space with the arms and the legs, landing the eyes in front of you, and give it a couple focused breaths. And then wait for an inhale, straighten the front leg and reach the arms up. Exhale, send it back to warrior two. Inhale to reach it up. Exhale to warrior two. Take that for one more round. Full breath in, reach it up. Exhale, warrior two. From here, you're going to flip the left palm, reach it up and back. Full breath in. Exhale to your high plank. Hands come down. Step the left foot back. Give it a moment of inhale. Last time, exhale, lower all the way down into your belly, bending your knees, reaching for the feet. Give yourself a couple breaths or so to decide where you want to start to work the pose, where you want to start to feel into more subtleties of breath movement so that you can sustain where you are, find more space where you are, find more ease and support, and not feel stuck. Whenever you're ready to exit, you'll come to a child's pose. Hands come down, sit back towards your heels. Give yourself a couple breaths to counter stretch through the back, just letting the breath movement wander there a bit more. And then you're going to start to walk your hands under the shoulders so you can straighten the arms, lift the head up, and then walk your hands to the tops of the thighs and just take a moment to adjust your relationship to gravity. And when you feel stable, press your knees down to lift the hips up. And then just like the beginning, but at the same time, reach both arms up to the sky, press the knees down so the buttocks engages and the hips drive forward. Use that to just get a little back bend going, and then notice your breath movement showing you space. And that might just allow you to more comfortably be where you are. Or maybe both arms backstroke and the hands find the back of your waist, and you can use that to drive the hips further forward and hinge a little further back. Maybe your hands reach for the ankles or they come on tops of blocks. Find a variation of this pose that's sustainable for the next couple breaths. And then when you're ready to exit, it's an exhale to cat. Hands come down, chin to chest, backs of the ribs press high, and treat cat like its own pose, not like an entrance to cow. And then you'll inhale cow, lift the eyes, curl the toes under. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Give it a slow breath in and out. And then inhale, reach the right leg up to the sky, bend the knee, let the hip open. And then exhale, come towards your half pigeon. So your right shin comes down in front of you. Scooch that left knee back as far as you need to feel that stretch in the front of the hip, just like those lunges earlier. And keep both hands down in front of you for a moment so you can really get the front of the hips to face the front relatively equally. And then from there, crawl the hands forward without collapsing towards the right hip. So keeping the energy of the left hip reaching forward. And then just give yourself a few breaths in your half pigeon. You don't have to let all the tension go, but focus on that first layer, that first moment of tension or stretch that starts to happen. And then within that tension, can you notice some breath movement that's showing you the potential for it to move out of that tension, for it to find more space and more ease. A couple more breaths. Give it another full breath in. And then exhale, bring your hands down, curl your back toes under, and reach the right leg straight back and up into that one-legged down dog, front of the hips facing forward. Give that an inhale. And then exhale, step it back down, downward dog. And right away, you'll reach the left leg up to the sky, bend the knee, let the hip open. And then exhale, bring the knee towards the elbow, and then get the shin down in front of you, lowering your back knee and scooching it back far enough to get a little stretch sensation. Taking a moment to have the hands down and focusing on the front of the hips facing forward, especially the right hip, trying to keep it in line with the left. And then ideally, where you decide to put your arms in your head won't compromise what you've set up with the pelvis, just so that you're getting some clarity within the edges of this pose so that the breath knows its parameters and it can start to wander a bit, showing you extra bits of space along the low back, along the shoulders. And as you start to feel into the breath movement, presenting you with that bit of potential of space and letting go, you might need to adjust where you had first put your arms or your head. Give yourself a couple more breaths or so, working with your breath movement to just let some of the tension go. Not all of it, just a little. You'll bring your hands under your shoulders, big breath in, curl the back toes under, and then when you're ready, reach the left leg straight back and up into that one-legged down dog, keeping the front of the hips relatively square. Give it another full breath in. And then exhale, down dog. Last down dog of the practice. Just give it a couple breaths to feel into all the space you've managed to create within the movement practice. Whenever you feel ready to exit, you'll step or hop your feet forward to come onto your butt. Once you come onto your butt, I want you to come into Navasana boat pose and just give that a few focused breaths, using your legs, using the expression of your arms to get the core to happen. So you can feel that sense of support starting to happen in the center and notice your breath movement within that. When you're ready to exit, lower both feet down, lower both hands down, and lift your hips up for just a casual reverse tabletop, a little counter stretch. Give it a soft breath. Another full breath in. And then exhale, you'll sit the butt down. And then release the legs straight out in front of you and roll yourself down onto your back. Give yourself a moment to rest the front body into the support of the back body. And taking this last moment of stillness to notice all of the movement that can happen without you actively participating, without you doing anything, that you can just be and you can continue to be supported by all the inevitable movements that will take place. Give yourself another full breath in here. And then exhale, hug the knees in towards your chest, starting to rock a little bit, just along the low back maybe. And depending on what you need, you might rock up to seated for a little burst of energy, or you might come to your side first and then make your way up. Similar to how you started, make your way into the most comfortable seated posture that you can make for yourself at the moment. And we'll finish with the hands on the knees or the thighs, the eyes closed, and just being still enough that you can feel all the movement that can happen. And some movement can only happen if you're not doing it. Give yourself just a few more breaths to be right where you are, allowing things to happen. And feeling into all the space that's available just because you're breathing. So this moment of stillness doesn't feel stuck. There's all the potential to move, all the potential to show you new space and new exits. With your next inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. And then exhale, palms to prayer in front of your heart. I hope you enjoy this practice, finding little moments of stillness to highlight all the movement that is always available. Namaste. Thank you for joining Hannah Adams Yoga. I hope you come back for more. Be well, yogis.